Very warm welcome. Thanks for joining, taking your time this evening to attend the Pathways Learning Hour. I'll just share the screen and we'll try and understand what exactly is involved in Toastmasters Pathways system. Hope you're able to see the screen.
Yeah, it's just loading. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So this is what the Pathways learning experience is about. It's the foundation of our Toastmasters experience and is a flexible, interactive program designed to help us build the competencies we need to communicate and lead. And basically, how it works is we have got a base camp is where all the pathways material is available to access our paths and experience extra content. And we can use any of the different devices that we want to devise. Once we log into the base camp and once we complete our levels, we can view badges, print certificates, and download resources as well, which is all the good things here for pathways. So now we can understand what are the different paths that are available at the moment that people can work on. And there are 6 unique learning paths, as it is mentioned here. And each path is divided into 5 levels, and the complexity increases when we move forward with the levels. It's not the so we'll get down to the levels and we'll try and understand. Level 1 will have lots of things to do, but they will be small enough things. But when we progress, we'll have less things to do, but we do projects on a long-term basis. And when we do the projects, we gain leadership experience. We gain experience to communicate and lead. And then we come back to the club and we describe how it went. So that's how the different levels are. So the different parts that are there at the moment is these 6 parts. We've got dynamic leadership, engaging humor. And then, if you look at dynamic leadership, some of the projects that are exclusive for dynamic leadership is, for example, understanding your leadership style, manage change, lead in any situation. So these are all the different projects, and each of these projects will have their own content. And that is really a very good thing about the whole Pathways experience, that you get a lot of content behind all these projects. If we go into the details, we'll be able to understand quite a lot. And then what we do is we understand the content, we do some project. All these are actually doing something, having a team and doing something along with the team. For example, we could actually take the example of the club. Say someone can do a project where we are trying to do an event, right, for informing more people about Toastmasters. That could be a project. And we could have some Toastmasters members working together. And basically, the project will involve in that we have come together, we have done all these things, and what was our learning from doing these things. So it's all practical based efforts that all this. So dynamic leadership would involve that. For example, engaging humor, it's more about humor as the path says. So know your sense of humor, engage your audience, and then deliver your message with humor. So these are some of the projects. Then there is motivational strategies, another path. So here, some of the projects, important projects, is active listening, motivate others, team building. And then here, for example, persuasive influence is another path. Again, understanding your leadership style, understanding conflict resolution, leading in difficult situations. So that's persuasive influence. And then presentation mastery. This is something that is recommended when someone first comes into Toastmasters. So generally, most of the people are taking presentation mastery. So here, the main different projects are effective body language, managing a difficult audience, prepared to speak professionally. And then visionary communication, this is the 6th path, if you want to call it. And here, some of them are understanding leadership, communication style, communicate change, develop your vision. So basically, all these paths have their own specific goals. And each of those goals, we can try and understand what we want to develop as a person, where I want to improve. And we can take one of these paths and we can try and understand the projects and actually do some actual practical activities. It can actually be within a community as well. It need not be Toastmasters itself. we could actually go in within a community and do some voluntary activity, and then come and describe about that voluntary activity. They generally say if you have a Toastmasters member to be with you, that will be a good thing. Then you have a Toastmaster member accompanying you in whatever activity you're doing. So this is the different parts that we have, right? So 6 different parts at the moment. There used to be 11 parts in the previous system, but in the new system, they changed, they have overhauled it. And so basically, someone who is continuing the 5 parts which are not there here, they can still continue. The system allows them to continue. But if someone new has joined recently, they will get only the choice of these 6 parts. So that's how it works out from the system. If there is any questions, we can continue discussing. Any questions here in terms of the different parts and the projects? Okay. Okay. Someone entering now. Hi, Nai.
Hi, Samesh. Hi.
Hi. Hi. So yeah, we have just started. We were discussing about what exactly is Pathways. What is it's an education program that helps us in personal and professional development, and what are the different paths. So currently there are 6 paths, and we were just discussing about what are the main projects in each of those paths. So you got dynamic leadership, engaging humor, then you have motivational strategies, persuasive influence, then we have presentation mastery and visionary communication. These are the 6 paths that we have. And there are different projects that are specifically related to these paths that help us to grow in whatever way we want to grow. And that's the reason why one should choose a particular path, because they want to work on some particular aspects in terms of that particular path. So that is about the paths, the 6 different paths that's there in the pathways. Then each of those paths have 5 levels in it, right? So that is where we are coming to now. And each of these levels, there are different terms associated with the levels. For example, level 1 is termed as mastering the fundamentals. Level 2 is learning our style. Level 3 is we increase our knowledge. Level 4, we build our skills. And level 5, we demonstrate expertise. And then once we complete all these projects that are there in a particular path, there is a path completion as well, where we reflect on our path. So this is actually a speech as well. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech. After we have done everything, all the different levels, we can do a path completion, and we can say what we have learned. We can reflect on what we learned from doing the whole path. So it's really interesting the way it is structured here. Right. So let's go into each of the levels, what is involved in each of the levels. For example, level 1, that every member who joins, they start with. Level 1, mastering the fundamentals. These are the different projects, and it's the same across the different paths as well. So as we know, we have icebreaker, which is the first speech that the member gives when they come into the club. One of the things about icebreaker is, say you have completed one path. For example, you have done presentation mastery, and you have done all the 5 levels, and you have done the reflect on your path, and you completed the path called, what is it called, presentation mastery. Then suppose you are planning to do persuasive influence. I'm just giving an example here. So when you're starting persuasive influence, again, you start with an icebreaker. And people generally have this question. They generally ask, why should I do icebreaker every time? Because icebreaker is supposed to be me as a new member introducing myself. And that's a very valid question. And how I understand this is, I would generally do it according to what the path I am doing, right? So for example, if I've done presentation mastery, I will talk about how I am as a presenter. What are the challenges that I face as a presenter? If I'm doing persuasive influence, my icebreaker will be dealing with how I am in terms of influencing other people. I will go and talk about my whatever attributes I have as a person who influences people. That might be some challenges that I have or something that I have done well, and then I go and talk about it. So that's my take on why icebreaker comes every time. And similarly, we have all these projects, evaluation and feedback. This is where we give one speech, then whatever feedback we get from the evaluator, we try and implement that feedback in the second speech. And then one of the things that we have to do as part of this project is serve as a speech evaluator as well. So you have to evaluate someone who is actually speaking. So basically, this particular project involves 3 speeches, 2 5 to 7 minute speech, and one 2 to 3 minutes speech evaluation. So basically, you're doing 3 speeches just by doing this project. So icebreaker will be 1 speech, 4 to 6 minutes. Then this one will be 3. So you're done 4 speeches by just completing 2 projects. Then you'll do the 5th speech, writing the speech with a purpose. Then you'll do the 6th speech, introduction to vocal variety and body language. So once we complete 6 speeches, we have completed level 1, right? So this is how it works out. And important thing here is I will go into the system as well, and we'll try and understand how to navigate the system. Navigation of the system is quite important as well. Let's complete this thing now at level, right? So now the next one is level 2, which is learning your style. And here there are 2 required projects, and then there is an introduction to mentoring. So that is the projects. So basically, we are doing 3 speeches. In level 2, we are doing 3 speeches, and all the other things that are associated with that project. Then when we go to level 3, so that was level 2. Level 3 is we are doing 1 project, which means 1 speech, 2 elective projects, at least 2. So that means you've got 3 speeches there. And then all these roles, like for example, if I do a Toastmaster role or a Topics Master and evaluator, I have to do all these roles, and then level 3 will be completed. So if I don't do those roles, my level 3 will not get completed. If I do only speeches, but I don't do roles, I won't be able to complete level 3. So these are all the different aspects, right? And then level 4, we have 1 project and then 1 elective project. So here, basically, we are doing 2 speeches. And what I said in the beginning, as we progress forward in different levels, we don't have to do too many speeches, but we have to do some leadership activity, that might involve forming a team and doing some project for 3 months, for example, and then coming out and explaining to the people how it went, what were your learnings. So it's all more kind of, practical based things that we will do. So that is one of the things when we progress forward in different levels, it's more practical based efforts and coming to the club and explaining how it went, the leadership aspect. So that is level 4. And then level 5, again, 1 project and 1 elective, right? So basically, if you look at it here, we have done 6 speeches here. We have done 3 9 speeches. Introduction to mentoring would be a speech as well. And then we have done 1 plus 2, right? So 9 plus 3, 12. 12 speeches we have done here by level 3. And then we have served as all these roles. Then we have done 12 plus 2, 14, right? There are 2 here. And then you have done 15, 16, right? So basically, we are doing around, and then reflect your path, 17 speeches. So we're doing around 17 speeches, but some of these levels will have work that needs to be done within leading a team or, something that we do on a practical basis. And that will involve a little bit of more time to actually complete those projects. Any questions in terms of the levels? Okay. Okay, so
No,
that is
no
the
comments.
level.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So we have 6 parts, and we have 5 levels in each of those parts, right? So that's how it is structured. Now, what we can do is we can actually go in and do a navigation thing as well. I think that it's important to understand how to navigate. So basically, what we do here is we go to toastmasters.org, and then maybe I'll log out. So we actually log in, right? We go to toastmasters.org, we do login. And because I have logged in and all the things are there already there, it's saved here. I've saved it. But if we forget the email or we forget the password, we can do this, and then it'll help us to get back our login details, basically. So then once we log in, we get the screen here. And then we go to the base camp. Go to base camp, right? The first option here. This is my education and achievement. So base camp is a place which is called the learning management system. They call it LMS in short. So Pathways has got this learning management system, and that is accessed through the base camp. So if I click on the base camp here, actually, yeah, I could have done the other way around. What I generally do is I might go back. I generally do a right click and open a new tab, because if I want to come back to this main, I can do that. It might be easier. So basically this opens the base camp, and the base camp will show what paths I have at the moment. So I have, for example, I have completed in terms of what I've completed the dynamic leadership and effective coaching, 2 paths. And then I completed the Pathways mentor program, club coach program, and I did the distinguished Toastmaster. So that is what I have completed at the moment in the paths in learning. So if we go to what I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing the engaging humor path. It's in progress. And story collection, that's another one. Story collection is not a path. I think it's just a set of things that will help us in terms of our communication skills. So if someone is totally new, I might go back to this particular thing. If someone is totally new, they might actually need to choose a path. Someone who has joined new to Toastmasters International, they would not get this. When they go to base camp, they will have nothing because they have not chosen a path. So for someone totally new, we have to go to this choose a path. And then, we select a language, and then we say view all path options. And then I say continue, or you can do an assessment. You can take an assessment. If you take an assessment, it'll ask certain questions, and then basing on how we answer the question, it'll suggest a path to us. It's quite an interesting way of choosing a path. Or you can directly say view all paths. You say continue, and then it gives the list of all the paths, the 6 paths that are available. So in my case, because I have already this one, which is continuing at the moment, so it's saying that you cannot purchase this because this path is currently in progress in Basecamp. So that's how this works out. So there are all these different, so you select this. Actually, the first path is free, but then if someone wants to take the second path, for example, then basically we need to pay, I think it's $25, $20, yeah. So if you're buying, say, first path comes free to all the Toastmaster members. Once they complete that path, if they want to go towards the second path, they need to pay the $20, and they can do it online through this. So that is choosing the new, and this Pathways learning experience is a good place, and I might actually send that in the chat as well, just so that everyone is aware. I'll just put it in here. Good place to start the Pathways journey. I'm just putting it in the chat here so that everyone gets to know this. So now what I'll do is we have understood. Now we go to the base camp, and I click here. I click on the my engaging humor path that I'm doing currently, and okay, there was an error loading this course, so I don't know what's happening. Let's see. Maybe there is some problem with the system. If there is a problem with the system, we can't do much about it, I would say. Let's see. Starting off anyway. It's doing something in the background. The important thing here is people have to go and actually log into toastmasters.org and try. I think that is sometimes challenging for people who are not into technology, because they generally don't go into the websites unless it is actually needed, right? So, and there is a challenge as well. I think these systems are a little bit not that intuitive as well, in a sense, so you need to keep going to the sites and keep trying things to understand how it works. So you need to spend a bit of time to try and understand how the system works. So yeah, I think that is important. So for example, in my case, I have done, so I just need to do the reflect on your path, and then my path will get completed, right? So this is the third path that I'm doing. So, but in case of, if I want to, if I I might just go to the beginning just so that we are aware how this works, right? So I'll just go do a quick walkthrough of how we can navigate the system, right? So for example, level 1, because I've done all this, it's all showing tick mark there, right? So if I had not done it, it won't be tick mark. It'll be a different thing. But when you go into the icebreaker, it will actually give a lot of information, each and every project. And this is what I like about Pathways. That there's so much in-depth information about different projects. People will lose out if they don't actually go into the system and do all these things. They lose out on a lot of information that is available here. So for example, all these different aspects are here. Getting started. So it gives an introduction, no wonder learned. And then it gives an introduction to the assignment, what exactly we are doing as part of the icebreaker. Then what is the learning? So basically, no wonder. So what I know as a communicator, and what I wonder, in terms of what I think I don't know, that I would like to experiment, for example. So all those things can be explored here. Then the speech itself, what is icebreaker? How do you plan? How do you look ahead? Then what are our goals? Then it gives a good bit of video here. So there's so much information. It's kind of, yeah, it's really well organized. So how you can write a speech, you have interesting topic, opening, body, conclusion. So then prepare and present. How do you prepare the speech? What do you do to prepare the speech? What do you do after your speech? Understand the feedback, accept feedback, and learning more. Then understanding Toastmasters evaluation. Right. So this is about the evaluation and feedback. Right. So review and apply complete assignment. So basically, yeah, this is about the evaluation itself. Once we do the speech, we get the evaluation. So how is that evaluation given? How do we accept the feedback? How do we ask for clarification? All those things. Review, apply, complete your assignment. So once we do the complete thing, then we reflect on our learning, and then we complete our project. Once we do the complete our project, we are done with the first project, which is the icebreaker speech. So then it says before you move on, what you can try and understand. And then we go to our next project, right? Writing a speech with a purpose. Then in that project, again, there is some pre-work that we can do. Then we actually go and do the speech. Then we come back to the system. We do a post kind of thing. And then we say, I've completed this particular project. Right. So that is the second project, writing a speech. Similarly, the third project, and then the fourth project. Right. So, and then once we do all of those projects, last thing that we do is level completion. And level completion, when we mark it as complete after doing all of that, a notification goes to the Basecamp manager. So Basecamp manager is generally the secretary, the VP education, and president have the Basecamp manager role. So they will get a notification. Once you say I've completed a level, they will get a notification saying that this member has completed, you have to approve it. So once the Basecamp manager approves it, you actually you will get a certificate, which will be signed by the CEO of Toastmasters International and the international president. and you actually get a certificate saying that you have completed level 1 of engaging humor, for example. And similarly, every time we complete a level, we get a certificate. And then once we complete a path, we get a path completion certificate. So that's how it works out. Any questions till now? Okay. So that's a very short synopsis. I think the important thing here is to try it out. I think that's the most important thing. Unless we try out, we will not be able to understand how the system works. Once we start trying, we might come into some challenges, and then I'm there, and the other members are there as well. Who know how to navigate the system, and they're ready to support. But initially, we should start trying. We should go into Toastmasters.org, log in, try and explore the system. I think that's really important. Yeah. Okay. I'll stop the sharing, and yeah, if there's any questions or any comments or anything, we can have a chat.
Do you want to stop the recording?